Hello there guys, and welcome to my first impressions for Marvel Heroes. Marvel Heroes is the new free-to-play action RPG game which was released yesterday by Gazillion Entertainment, and I thought I'd share with you my first impressions of the game. I've played the game now for a couple of hours in, so I'm probably about a sixth of the way through the story from what I can tell, somewhere thereabouts. Very quickly before I go into the game, let's just take a really quick look at the options screen, because to be fair, there aren't any. You've got your resolution options for graphics, full screen and VSync. Graphics quality is literally just a slider. Now luckily it does tell you what things the slider affects, but there's no customization option to turn various things on and off. Visual effects obscurement is really just from other players, because this is an MMO of sorts. Key bindings are all down there, they're all fully rebindable, which is nice. Gameplay doesn't really matter, the things in there aren't all that important, but you do have a few things that are nice for this type of game, such as stop moving when the mouse button's released if you like to hold down the button to follow. And audio, again, quite simple. Motion comics refers to the sort of in-game cutscenes between missions, which are nicely done. That nothing special, but they certainly add to the artistic style. And then you've got separate sliders for music, sound effects, and character volume. So all of that is fairly straightforward. So let's log in and have a look at the game itself. So here we are in the main hub for the game, and as you can see there are lots of other people running around because all players essentially start in this area. Now there are times where you won't be with other players, so for example when you first start the game you're in this area on your own and you get to do the sort of tutorial mission without the interference of other players. Now as you progress through the game you get to do various missions in two types of environment. You will have open sort of multiplayer areas where you can have multiple people taking on the bad guys, and the bad guys will constantly keep respawning, and you will get the various little side missions that you can do in those areas. So for example, every now and then a sort of mini boss will appear, and it will take a good number of players to be able to take them out. You won't be able to solo them. And then you've got your story missions, which are sort of phased instances where you're in there on your own, unless you specifically invite a friend to come with you. And within those, the bad guys don't respawn, and they're randomly generated as well. So every time you redo those missions, the layout is going to be slightly different. Now, one thing that is worth mentioning, with this being a free-to-play game, what is the business model? Well, obviously the main attraction for this game is the heroes, because everyone wants to play their favourite Marvel superhero. That's the point of it. Now, when you first launch this game, you will be asked to choose one free hero to unlock. And the choice you have, or at least the choice I was given, was a choice of 5. And that was Hawkeye, Storm, Daredevil, Scarlet Witch, and Thing. Whichever one you unlock, you are essentially stuck with. By this point, you haven't played the game, you've had no option to test out the game mechanics or choose your hero and actually try them to see what they're like, so you get to pick one and you are stuck with them. Now, saying that, I chose Hawkeye as my original unlock, and after completing the prologue mission, I was given an unlock voucher for Storm. So I did get one unlock for free. Whether everybody gets the same unlock, I honestly can't tell you. So there is a way to unlock certain other heroes, but the main way they expect people to get them is via the store. Obviously, it's a very microtransaction driven game. If we look here, we can see there's a selection of heroes. Now, they are going to be adding more people to the roster as time goes on. So as you can see, we've got the likes of Captain America, we've got Deadpool, we've got Iron Man and the Hulk, you've got Thor, Spider-Man, Wolverine. So you do have some of the more A-list Marvel heroes in there. And as you can see, the cost of them varies from 600G up to about 2000G. Now, if we actually look at the store, now for some reason this gives it to me in dollars. I don't know why, because I live in the UK. 500G is $5 essentially, so 100G is $1. For those of you in the UK watching, $5 is about £3.18. For some strange reason, it's actually cheaper to buy 2 lots of $500 than it is, 500 gold than it is to buy 1,000 gold, because that would work out 1 cent cheaper. Strange. You don't actually start to save money until you buy the bigger amount, so you've got to drop at least $20 before you're able to actually get any benefit from buying larger stacks of in-game currency. Now, if we actually look at the price of these, as you can see, the cheapest heroes, which are some of the ones you get to choose from at the beginning of the game, are 600G. So that is literally $6, or it's about £3.80 something in the UK. All the way up to the top tier heroes, which are 20,000 in-game, 2,000 in-game currency, which is $20. So you've got heroes here ranging from $6 up to $20, and this is only a small, very small portion of the planned roster. You can also see that each hero has a selection of different costumes, which tend to sort of roll in, like this one, for example, for Black Panther, they're between sort of $10 and $13. Not sure if that's the same for all of the heroes. Yeah, some of them are slightly cheaper, but you're still looking at dropping $6 to $10, or even more there, $6 to $13 to be able to unlock various different cosmetic costumes. And you look at someone like Captain America, there's quite a few to choose from. As usual, you've got the stuff like pets. You have cosmic keys. Now, cosmic keys are $1, and they are required if you want to participate in the daily challenges. You've also got crafting materials and various different boosts that you can get. Not 100% sure what the fortune cards are, to be honest. I think it tells you there. Yeah. So you might get a random pet or something not worth as much. It's a mystery prize, so it's a bit of a gamble if you want to drop $1 on a fortune card. And then you've got the specials as well, which I think at the moment is empty. So the business model clearly relies around you paying a lot of money to unlock all the various different heroes. You do unlock, level up different heroes individually. So even when you've leveled one up, you have the opportunity to go and level up another. So if you have a look around the hub here, you can see one of the first things you'll notice, which is a bit strange, is already at the moment I can see 4 things and 2 daredevils and 2 storms, which is a little bit weird because it does kind of break the immersion when you see your favourite hero repeated several times. So the main hub here is the Avengers Tower, and there are various people scattered around that will give us quests. We have a way to fast travel, so we can fast travel out to our next destination. We also have our waypoint here, which works pretty much like a save point. So you can see that I've completed the prologue, I've completed chapter 1, well, almost completed chapter 1, and then we've got chapter 2 there as well. So there are ways you can kind of skip bits out, but you get to redo those. Then you've got your vendors. So we've got a weapons vendor here, and somewhere over here we've got Jarvis, who is an item vendor. Now, one of the things that's quite nice with this is the way that this works. Obviously, you can sell any items you pick up and get credits for them, but at the same time, you can also donate items. And when you donate items to a vendor, your rank with that vendor goes up. And as the rank goes up, you will actually get higher and better gear that you can use. So if you're the sort of person that likes to go around and pick up every single piece of junk on the map, and trust me, there is a lot of junk on the map, you will have lots and lots of stuff that you can use for reputation with the vendors. So as you can see, completing quests, handing things in, as well as killing mobs, drops little orbs on the floor of various different colours. Yellow ones give you extra XP, red ones are health, blue ones are spirit, which is essentially your sort of mana for using special abilities. So anyone that's familiar with games such as Diablo and Torchlight, very, very similar. In fact, some of the devs that worked on this game worked on the original Diablo and Diablo 2. So we've also got our stash here, which is essentially a bank where we can dump all of the items that we collect. Now, it starts with 1 tab by default. As you can see, there's a lot of extra tabs here. So General 2, which is going to cost us $5 if we want to open that one, and another $5 for a third tab. And then we've got ones that are specifically for crafting materials, again $3 a piece. And then we can have special hero only gear for specific heroes, and again that's going to be $3.50 if you want to open those. So another little way to nickel and dime you. If we just pop up over here, there is a crafting system. So you will collect various different items as you kill different mobs. Let's get rid of that. And you can then choose what you want to create, drag in the materials required, and create the items there. Again, you can donate and increase your rank with them to unlock more types of gear. So you can add cosmetic things to gear as well. You can create gear, consumables. So quite a few different things to craft that you will build up as you go. And if we just go right to the top here in the Avengers Tower, this is where we have our access to, first of all, PvP. I can't really show you the PvP because you have to complete the core storyline before you can do any PvP. And then we have 3 consoles here that represent green daily missions, red daily missions, and challenges. But in order to do any of these, you're going to need to drop a book and get one of those cosmic keys. So let's go back to the waypoint and have a look at the gameplay itself. So here we are. I'm going to go to chapter 1 and I am going to go to the rooftop checkpoint. Now, one thing I have to point out in this game is the loading times are rather long. Even running from an SSD, it can take quite a bit of time to load in from one level to another, even if there's a cutscene involved in between. I'm going to try and avoid any story spoilers, although, to be honest, the story isn't all that great. But when we get into the game, I'll try and sort of skip any dialogue or pop-ups that might give away the main storyline for you, and I'll definitely skip out any cinematics. So here we are. This area is one of the sort of communal areas where lots of people can sort of participate together. So as you can see, there's 3 storms hanging around on the roof and a couple of Scarlet Witch. There's another Hawkeye. So let's go down to street level. So now we are in a communal area. Already you can see I'm being attacked by bad guys. And lots of things to pick up on the ground. Now, the controls are quite like you'd imagine them to be. They're actually quite responsive and quite smooth. You use the left click to tell your character where you want him to go. You can, if you left click on the ground, he will just follow the mouse pointer around. There's no way to run by controlling the character directly, so everything's done via clicking with the mouse. Right click gives you your sort of secondary attack, which in my case is a kick. Ideally if things get too close to me. You can see I've been shot at from all angles here. And if I right click on an enemy, it will automatically change from moving to attacking. I can also hold down shift and just attack on the spot, which is really nice as well. And then you get a variety of different abilities that you can unlock as you level. And if we just find some guys down here, there must be some somewhere, or that other Hawkeye's probably killing them all. So let's go and have a look. So one down here somewhere. So I've got things like my taser arrows. I've got my roll, which is useful for getting out of the way. As you can see, people do drop stuff on the floor that you can collect. As well as that, I also have my freeze arrows. So what you basically have as you go along and as you kill more bad guys, you have a... Oh, so it's typical when I want to show you something, I'm going to be attacked by the biggest group of enemies I've ever seen. So if I use my right click ability here, I can actually just kick them all and give myself a bit of space. As you can see, it's not particularly difficult. There's plenty of health. You're quite well armoured. You can pick up gear, of course, like I've just picked up there. You can pick up better weapons. You can pick up better gear. Some of it's just stats. Some of it gives you various different advantages. So let's just pick up some of that stuff there. A lot of guys around here. Let's try and clear some of these up. So now you can see there we've just had Electro appear. Now Electro is one of these sort of world bosses that I was talking about. So as you can see, there's a few different players here that are all engaging him. There he is. Let's try and keep out of his sort of area of effect because he's quite nasty. Now it looks like there's only the 2 of us here actually trying to deal with him, which is a bit problematic because I have taken this guy out before. I was here with the group earlier, although there are a lot more of us doing it. He does appear on the minimap, so people will get an opportunity to come and join in. Not really much coordination between players, you just all kind of click on the guy until he is dead. So while this is going on, let's talk a little bit about some of the aesthetics, like the look of the game and the sound. First of all, graphics. I mean, they're not bad. They're colourful, they're cartoony, which is what you'd expect from a game based around comic books. They're certainly not anything special. I have noticed a little bit of texture pop in every now and then, which is a little bit disappointing. And particularly on levels where the bad guys tend to respawn, like this one here, occasionally you'll find not only mobs, but cars and various other background objects will just randomly appear right in front of your eyes on the screen, which is a little bit immersion breaking. But apart from that, the animation quality is quite good. It does seem to be a lot better with the heroes than it does with the mobs. The mob variety, from what I've seen so far, has been relatively varied, even though I've only played the first couple of missions. As for the sound, again, not too bad. The music's quite I don't know what's the word for it. The music's nothing special really. So much to the point where I've actually turned the music right down just because I just found it kind of annoying for my tastes. The sound effects are relatively repetitive, lots of explosions and twangs and thuds. Again, very much what you'd expect from something based on a comic book. The voice acting is not bad. It's definitely serviceable. As you can see, we've got him down there and we get a load of stuff to pick up. So the voice acting, I think, is definitely serviceable, although it's definitely Saturday morning cartoon, I think is the best way to put that. So there we go, that was a bit hectic, but as you can see, that's a good example of how players can sort of work together to take down some of these random encounters when mini-bosses appear, and then you've just got back to your normal dudes. So that's basically gameplay in a nutshell. We see somebody there's already paid to unlock Captain America. So we have a bit of a die-hard fan there. I must admit, the majority of the heroes that I've seen around so far have been the sort of initial 5. Lots of people playing Hawkeye, lots of people playing Daredevil, The Thing, Storm, and Scarlet Witch. Seen very, very few people actually playing any of the other heroes, although there are a few around. So while I'm safe, let's just have a quick look here. So you've got your character sheet, again, very, very similar to what you're going to see in any game that is anything like this. You get a bit of bio, you get your raw stats, and you've also got your various different stats that you can compare together. You can see your level here. Inventory at the bottom. Again, we're very much going back to this traditional method of grey gear is not so good, green gear is rarer, blue gear is very rare, and then purple gear is your sort of epic gear. You do get these various medals, which you usually get from taking down a boss or a mini-boss, and they usually give you some sort of boon or buff. Is that a Cyclops over there? Looks like it might be. Again, these things, these astral essences and enhanced genomes, these are all part of the crafting. The majority of the time you will pick stuff up that your character can use specifically, so you don't have to worry about picking up lots and lots of junk that you cannot use. However, you will occasionally pick up bits and pieces for other people. Like you can see there, I've picked up some wristbands that are specifically for Colossus. So you've got your inventory system there, and then here you have your power system. Now, it's relatively simple. You basically have sort of 3 different trees, basically, and when you hit certain levels, things will unlock, and you get a point to spend on every level you achieve, and you can put these points into various different things. Some of them are prerequisites to open the next skill in the tier. Some of the skills are passive and you don't have to do anything with them. Some of these skills, like my getaway roll and my taser arrow, are active skills and you can drop them onto the hotbar at the bottom, activate them with the middle row of keys from A to H. And you can see, like, the taser arrow here, for example, has a green number 3. It says current rank 3, but in fact my rank for this is actually only 1. The reason it says 3 is because I will have some sort of item that I'm using. So my bow of taser arrow gives me +1 to my current rank of taser arrow, and I've probably got something else that does that as well. Yes, my mask also gives me +1 to my current rank of taser arrow. So even though my taser arrow only has a rank of 1, I'm gaining an extra 2 ranks from the gear, which is quite nice. So that pretty much is the game in a nutshell. What do I think to it so far? From what I've played of it, I've enjoyed it. It does look fairly good, even though, like I said, the graphics aren't really anything special, but they're nice, and it does give a very comic-y and cartoony kind of atmosphere. If you do like games like Diablo and Torchlight, I can't for 1 minute imagine why you wouldn't like this, particularly if you're a fan of the Marvel franchise. The only downside, like I said, is the sort of business model. And I was speaking to someone about this a couple of days ago, that I do like the fact that a lot of games are free to play, but at the same time it would be nice if they offered games with the option of being able to pay a one-off fee and unlock the whole game. Because if you actually considered, if you wanted to go and buy all of the different heroes and items that were available in this game, it would cost you at least a couple of $100. And that's assuming they don't expand the roster anymore. So, yeah, it's a little bit disappointing that you have to spend too much. I guess some people will be happy with the initial 5 heroes. I guess some people would have 1 or 2 favourite heroes and might just drop a couple of bucks on their favourite hero and play that one all the time. But I think it'll get to a point where if you're just playing one hero constantly all the time, you'll get a little bit bored with it and you'll want to switch anyway. And then when you switch to a new hero, you start at level 1, so you have to go through and level them up. Of course, if you've got any gear that you collected on your previous hero that is not bound to a specific character, then you can put that in your bank and you can share that between all of your heroes, which is an absolutely great thing. But that's nothing like we haven't seen in other MMOs, such as, again, things like Diablo and even things like WoW, where you can swap things around between your characters. So all in all, from what I've played, I think it's an enjoyable game. It's going to be a costly game, particularly if you want to unlock all of the heroes and collectibles in there, but no doubt some people will. And yeah, I think it's going to do quite well. If you're a fan of the Marvel franchise, give it a go. It's free to play. It's a fairly big download. It's about 10 gigabytes, but it doesn't cost anything at all if you just want to download it, fire it up, pick one of those 5 heroes, and have a bit of a play around with it. So check it out for yourself, see what you think, and who knows, I may see you on the battlefield. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.